Today, we bring you a wilderness survival thriller. At the start, the main group gathers together, planning an exciting river rafting adventure. When they meet, they greet each other warmly with hugs, then prepare their gear and get ready for the trip. The group consists of 2 men and 3 women, with Joey and Gray being siblings. They choose a spot in the countryside, but little do they know that what was meant to be an exhilarating rafting experience will turn into a life-or-death struggle. One of the men urges the women to get on the boat quickly, warning that if they delay, they won't be able to set off. Many are still looking forward to the upcoming rafting adventure. Once everything is ready, they board the boat and approach their first rapid. Everyone puts on their helmets in advance, but despite the protective gear, nerves start to set in. One of the men warns them that a bigger drop is coming. After this larger fall, Anna becomes the first to fall into the water, but wearing a life jacket, she is not in serious danger. With the help of her companions, she climbs back onto the boat. Night falls, and everyone gathers around the campfire, drinking and talking about the day's thrilling adventures. Feeling exhausted, Joey explains her condition to the others and retreats into her tent to rest. Outside, 2 men and 2 women remain, and their conversation shifts from rafting to more sensitive topics. Under the influence of alcohol, Anna feels the need to use the restroom and heads into the woods. At that moment, a man named Trevor notices Anna's slender, graceful figure and seems to have a thought. After a while, he finishes his beer, signals to the others, and then follows her. By the fire, only Gray and Carissa remain, leaning on each other. Just as things begin to get more intimate, a scream pierces the night, startling Joey inside the tent. She immediately grabs a flashlight, unzips the tent, and asks what happened. All she hears is someone shouting, "Everyone, come help!" Confused, Joey rushes toward the depths of the forest with her flashlight. As she walks, Joey calls out, "Where are you? Are you there?" When everyone finally gathers in the center of the forest, they are shocked to find Anna sitting on the ground, covered in blood, her hair matted and obscuring the back of her head. With prior first aid experience, Joey immediately has Anna lie flat on the ground. One of the men hurriedly explains that she accidentally fell and hit her head on a rock. The others, arriving moments later, are skeptical. After all, they know why the man had chased after her. Gray, acting as the guide for the rafting trip, quickly instructs Trevor to fetch the first aid kit and the satellite phone from the tent to call a rescue helicopter and get Anna to the hospital. Meanwhile, Gray searches for equipment or branches to stabilize Anna's neck. After the 2 men leave, Anna looks at Joey and Carissa and reveals the terrifying truth. She had been attacked. It turns out that a drunken Trevor had tried to assault Anna, and when she refused, he became humiliated and enraged, attacking her from behind. Before she could say anything, Trevor returned. Joey asks him how badly Anna fell, but Trevor is uncertain and nervously replies that he doesn't know, and it probably wasn't serious. He then tells Gray that the satellite phone is broken, which puzzles Gray, but now isn't the time to dwell on it. Joey begins administering first aid to Anna with the kit, but when she touches and examines the head wound, she stops. She doesn't feel confident handling such a severe injury. She tells the others that Anna must be taken to a hospital immediately, warning that she may not survive more than 2 hours, and that her skull is fractured. Hearing this, the group's expressions grow grim. Carissa tries to comfort Anna, saying it will be okay, but Anna panics, pleading for help. Joey insists they must get Anna to a hospital as quickly as possible, but now the problem is, how can they reach one fast in the middle of the mountains at midnight? Gray thinks of the ranger station, and the fastest route to get there is via the river. However, at this hour, navigating the river isn't ideal. It's far from the safest choice. Gray warns the others that taking this route could put everyone on the boat in serious danger. But Joey, determined to save Anna, pleads with Gray, and eventually, everyone agrees. Joey's plan is risky, but they decide to go through with it for Anna's sake. They first stabilize Anna's head, leave their personal items and tent on the riverbank, and prepare to set off toward the ranger station. Once on the boat, they quickly realize that controlling the river isn't as easy as they thought. The difficulty jumps to an extreme level. To make matters worse, Anna, weakened from severe blood loss, suddenly suffers a seizure, requiring 2 people to hold her down with all their strength. On top of navigating the series of dangerous rapids ahead, Gray begins distributing glow sticks, which are meant to help locate and rescue anyone who falls into the water. But unexpectedly, a rapid overturns the entire boat, and everyone ends up in the river. The life jackets keep them afloat. Gray first gets Joey onto a rocky ledge by the rapid, then rescues the secured Anna. Meanwhile, Trevor and Carissa manage to get out of danger on their own. Alone, Joey tells Gray that all of this was Trevor's doing, that he attacked Anna. Just as Gray is about to ask more, Trevor suddenly appears. Seeing him, Joey immediately turns to find Anna. Everyone prays that they can safely reach the ranger station and save Anna. Aside from Trevor, once everyone reaches the shore, Gray and Trevor set out together to seek help at the ranger station. But halfway there, Trevor stops Gray, revealing that he and Gray share a hidden, mysterious past. Trevor is a convict on probation, and if the police find out that he attacked Anna, nearly killing her, he would truly lose his freedom. His probation exists because he once helped Gray seek justice, and now he uses that favor as leverage, demanding Gray's assistance. Gray wrestles with the moral dilemma for a long time but ultimately chooses to help Trevor, agreeing to cover up the incident while doing everything possible to save Anna. After forming this uneasy alliance, the two reach the ranger station, only to find it empty. Just as they are about to give up, the station chief returns. They explain to the chief that Anna's head injury is critical, with the other companions waiting on the shore, and request a helicopter for emergency evacuation. Just as the station chief picks up the phone to call a helicopter, Trevor grabs the receiver. He knows that if Anna is airlifted, she will be out of danger, which would inevitably expose his attack. He persuades the chief to transport Anna by truck instead, claiming it will get her to the hospital faster. In reality, Trevor plans to use the bumps along the road and his interference to delay the journey, hoping Anna might not survive the trip. The chief insists on calling the helicopter, and when Trevor continues to block him, the chief pulls out his sidearm. Facing the gun, Trevor reluctantly backs down and feigns compliance. Gray tries to reason with him, but Trevor seizes an opportunity to grab the gun, struggling with the chief. Gray rushes to help, nearly getting caught in the line of fire. During the struggle among the three, Trevor grabs a knife. Amid Gray's shouts, the station chief is gravely injured and collapses. What had begun as an attempted assault has now escalated into a death. Trevor can no longer walk away unscathed. He picks up the chief's handgun, intending to give himself control over his fate before the police arrive, but despite his efforts, he cannot bring himself to pull the trigger. Meanwhile, Gray still tries to call the authorities. Suddenly, Trevor gets an idea. He forces Gray to put down the phone, smashes it, and then coerces him into helping place the chief's body into the vehicle, staging it as a car accident. As the vehicle crashes and later explodes, all evidence is consumed by the flames. Trevor makes the decision to become a fugitive, choosing to live on the run. Seeing the two returning companions, Joey and Carissa notice the handgun in Trevor's hand and realize that they are now his hostages. Trevor declares that if they safely get him to Canada, he will not harm them. At this point, Anna can no longer hold on. Joey warns that returning to the water will kill Anna, but that is precisely Trevor's goal. He uses the gun to threaten the three, continuing to drift north. During the journey, Anna stops breathing. As they silently pass under an iron bridge, Joey gets an idea. Using the reflection from a lighter, she signals a man on the bridge, who notices Anna on the boat and asks if she needs help. Trevor refuses the assistance, fully aware that keeping Anna on the boat is extremely dangerous. At a bend in the river, he forces the others with his gun to steer into a tributary, then orders them ashore, preparing to bury Anna right there. To prevent the three from escaping, Trevor tightly binds their hands and keeps his gun close as he slowly dozes off. As time passes, Joey unexpectedly notices that the man from earlier has followed them. He had sensed something unusual with Anna on the boat and couldn't resist trailing them. He attempts several times to secretly seize Trevor's gun, but fails each time. With no other option, he first unties the ropes. However, Trevor wakes up, and a few gunshots ring out. The man falls to the ground. Before dawn, the three bury him at the spot. Under Trevor's coercion, they continue drifting downstream. As the string of murders escalates, Trevor grows increasingly agitated. Carissa, noticing his volatile mood, quietly retrieves a hidden weapon and punctures the boat. As the boat begins to leak, Trevor notices it sinking and accuses Carissa of sabotage. Panicked, she shakes her head, denying involvement. Although he senses someone is interfering, Trevor still has a sliver of reason and chooses not to harm the others, instead steering the boat to shore to repair it. While Gray searches for tools, he seizes the opportunity to spray Trevor with a can of pepper spray, trying to take control and grab the gun, but he fails. The two struggle violently. Meanwhile, Joey and Carissa quietly untie themselves. After freeing their hands, instead of helping Gray, they choose to run. Suddenly, a gunshot rings out. Frozen in shock, they see Trevor slowly rising in the distance, indicating that Gray has been shot. Joey shouts for them to run as Trevor quickly pursues them. Seeing that both of them were about to be caught, Joey tells Carissa to keep running while she draws Trevor's attention, taking a detour to rescue Gray. Trevor falls for the bait and chases Joey. Joey reaches a cliff and, seeing the murderer closing in, decisively jumps into the river. Trevor, unwilling to jump, returns along the original path and runs along the riverbank. Meanwhile, Joey spots Gray, barely alive on the shore, and quickly lifts him onto the boat. Together, they navigate the river, drifting hundreds of meters away. When Trevor reaches the riverbank and sees their backs disappearing, he refuses to give up. He pursues them along the shore, knowing that if the survivors escape, he will certainly face capture and likely a death sentence. At that moment, two kayakers happen to pass by. Trevor, without hesitation, kills them and commandeers a kayak to chase Joey, already carrying several lives on his conscience. His intent now is to eliminate everyone. Joey, rowing the boat ahead, is stunned to see multiple rapids in front and a massive waterfall beyond. Trevor quickly closes the distance behind her. With no way to retreat, Joey knows she must push forward. At the first rapid, Gray accidentally falls into the water but manages to grab a rope in time and climb back onto the boat. At the second rapid, both of them are swept into the river, carried downstream by the strong current. At the last moment, Gray grabs onto a nearby rock while Joey clings to a protruding stone wall, reaching out to him. After a strenuous effort, she finally pulls Gray to safety. Looking at his barely conscious form, she tells him they can't stay any longer and must leave immediately. Unexpectedly, Trevor appears and plunges a knife into Joey's body. As Trevor and Joey struggle violently, Gray suddenly erupts, grabbing Trevor from behind and forcing them both over the edge of the waterfall. They crash onto the cliff below, lifeless. At that moment, a helicopter carrying Carissa passes by and spots Joey frantically waving her arms. Finally, Joey and Carissa are rescued.